The 2023 Pro Farmer Crop Tour on U.S. Farm Report is brought to you by Pioneer. Pioneer combines cutting-edge research with one of the largest local testing programs in the industry to help farmers succeed. Pioneer, what's next happens here. And by BASF, helping you do the biggest job on earth.
Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report this weekend. All right, you just saw the West with Michelle Rook. You just saw the East and what scouts saw there. So now, Iowa really was a big question mark. You mentioned that this crop is going backwards. You know, how would you describe things in western Iowa, Chip?
In western Iowa, really? Can I go ahead and do that? To me, it looked like a crap sandwich. Looked good in the southwest, looked good in the northwest, and it was crap in west central.
That is the perfect analogy.
You're welcome.
Do you have an analogy for eastern Iowa? Can you beat that?
No, but there's more uncertainty now than there was going into crop tour.
Yeah.
A lot more uncertainty, and I think that is critical when you're talking about the number one corn producing state and the number two soybean producing state.
Yeah, you said it going into this, there were some big question marks. And still, are we seeing this crop go backwards? You know, you're concerned about that. But even if we have an average crop in Iowa, Chip, does it change the stocks scenario?
An average crop in Iowa, if we can get there and make it look similar to what it was a year ago, no, I don't think it changes the outlook on corn all that much. We're still going to be looking at a stocks to use ratio in that 14-15%, and I just don't see anything too bullish about a 14 to 15% stocks to use ratio. Now, soybeans, if it finishes as poorly as I think it might, and we start to take some bushels off of Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, you start to take away from the national average yield, and that bean market is going to be much more sensitive to a change on the supply side than corn.
Yeah, Brian, that's what I was going to ask you next.
Yeah, so corn had cushion coming into the growing season, and the acreage gave us more cushion.
Yep.
Soybeans didn't. Soybean acreage, was down, and now we have question marks and no cushion, and so I think that there may be some changes on the balance sheet there that come about.
But when you look some of the pictures and the video coming out of some of these routes, farmers may be getting bullish because there are some big question marks there. Do you think that they should be getting bullish right now?
Sell rallies. Don't get overly bullish. Sell rallies is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and it's because of demand. If all of a sudden we see concern over the supply of corn and soybeans in the United States to the rest of the world, if the importers become concerned about that and step in and start buying up in a much bigger way than what they've been doing for that 23-24 marketing year, then you've got demand coming up and you've got supply coming down at the same time. Then maybe we can start to get a little excited about corn. But I've been saying this the whole week, Brian. I think the corn-soybean ratio is going to 3-to-1. And it could trade there for a very long time.
Well, I'll say this. Brazil grew a record soybean crop.
Yeah.
Brazil grew a record corn crop. Brazil's still got soybeans left to ship. Brazil's got a whole heck of a lot of corn left to ship, and that's going to impede on the first half of our new crop marketing year, which is when we should be strongest, especially for soybeans.
All right, so wrap us up. What was the biggest surprise for you, though, this week? Corn or soybeans, Chip?
I'm going to remember this as a soybean year. Normally, when I'm out on crop tour, I'm thinking about the corn crop. Bean crop is kind of a secondary thought. I'm going to remember the 2023 tour because of how vulnerable this bean crop was at the end of the trip.
Brian, how about on the East?
I think it's corn because of Ohio and how impressive it was. More impressive than Indiana. We moved into Illinois, and it was way more mature than we saw in those first two states. And then Iowa was just an absolute slam the door in your face type of deal. So corn, definitely corn.
And Ohio with the rain. I mean, would you have, going into this crop tour, did you think Ohio would be the shining star in the East?
No, I didn't. I knew Ohio, I had a good idea that Ohio had a good crop, not as good as what we saw.
Well, that was a good note to end on. Brian, Chip, thank you both. All right, we need to take a quick break, and then we'll have much more right here on U.S. Farm Report.